This is going to be another one of those videos, isn't it? Fine, whatever. So, Pokemon Horizons. The anime series, right? So, we got a lot of information about the newest arc that's going to start on April 12th, so in 2 weeks' time. 2 to 3 weeks' time, yeah, after Easter. Never mind. So, we got information about, the new poster as we see gym leaders of Paldea and we see some characters of Paldea because the arc is going to be in Paldea, right? And apparently Liko, Roy, and Dot are going to school. Now, there is a lot of reasons for this. They are going to school to train Terastal because they realize they are not strong enough yet to win against the Explorers, which is something that it's, makes sense. Even though in the other series, Ash only defeated Team Rocket because he was always facing Jesse and James. And even though every character only has like 2 Pokemon at tops, it makes sense because it's 8 characters, so you would get like a team of 16 Pokemon. It's like if 2 people had a full team and the third person only had like 4 Pokemon. Makes sense. This happened with May and Dawn in AG and DP, right? With Ash and Brock as their companions. So, apparently Fuecoco is going to learn a new move. I don't know if it's Flame Charge, if it's Flare Blitz. I really hope it's Temper Flare. Temper Flare? Yeah, Temper Flare, the new DLC move. Working in tandem with Stopping Tantrum makes sense. Now, Sprigatito evolving. That's... I think it makes sense. It makes sense for Sprigatito to evolve. Do not be surprised if Fuecoco just leapfrogs evolution like how Poplio did with Torracat back in Sun and Moon, right? Makes sense, right? So, what was I going with this? I feel like Floragato really needs, more moves, and Magical Leaf looking like Leafage really didn't made her anything justice. Now, Dot is becoming a great character, right? And I feel like Arc 2, everyone's like, oh, this is just filler, we didn't really go anywhere. And I'm like, but we get to know the characters. Like, every character had at least one focused episode. Even the Pokemon on the ship had focused episodes. And we got new additions to the crew. And it make, like, the ship being locked in Paldea because they need repairs for the black shiny Rayquaza stuff, it kind of makes one point. And besides, we are going to re-see Nemona and Brassius. And since episodes take like 1 year to be made in terms of brainstorming and such, this was probably being done after the first debut of Nemona and Brassius, like in June, July, right? When the first Lavincia arc was happening. So it makes sense that this kind of, they are on a rendezvous point where they were in Kanto, Paldea, Galar, in miscellaneous places, and now they are in Paldea again. Now, is this killing off the pacing of Horizons? Not really. Because the most likely scenario is that they realize they have like a year to spare because of Legends ZA. And they're probably doing, in terms of mitigation of the pacing, because we got an arc of 25 episodes, another one of 20. So this one, I think it's going to be at the very least 15. Because we have the Elite Four members, so I feel like every one of them will get like a focused episode. Brassius being there, I don't think Brassius will have a focused episode. I feel like he's just going to be around Hassel. And Hassel is a dragon expert, so he's going to help Roy with Rayquaza and all of that, right? And the most likely scenario is because Baxcalibur has the thermal exchange ability. That's probably when Fuecoco is going to become a Crocolore. So we get those 4 characters, and we get like 2 gym leaders to introduce, because it's, Katie and Grusha. I feel like they're going to have their focused episodes as well. Funny enough, the first episode we don't see Gita, really, but we see Gita outfit to give the kids a Terror Orb. So Gita and Clavel are going to be around. So they're probably going to be in all of the episodes while the Volteclers are, dealing with the repairments of the ship. And Liko is here in the exchange program. So I don't know why she's not wearing the uniform in the poster, but the other kids are. It's kind of weird. And apparently Sango is going to be disguising as a student, while Onyx and Agate are going to be disguising themselves as teachers, which I think will be very interesting. If anything, like, I feel like the teachers of the games, they're going to be around, but they're going to be probably just, you know, in the side, not really doing much anything important, because Horizons is not the story of the games. But this kind of brings to a good point that it's the Elite Four. Now, if we get, you know, an episode for every member of the Elite Four, with Gita and Hassel, with Gita and Clavel around, and then Nimona, and then something for Katie and Grusha. They are probably going to face Liko and Roy, maybe. I don't know. Dot needs something too, so let's see. I feel like this is going to be the arc where they're going to catch their third Pokemon, and I don't know if it's going to be the third Pokemon from the ship or just something new that they meet. Probably something that's, you know, in the poster, like Rafai or something. I don't know. So with Elite Four, two miscellaneous characters, and then 2 gym leaders, and then 3 captures, it's 11, right? 11 episodes. I think it makes sense with the pacing and all that. I don't know if they're going to do an Ace Academy tournament. It would not be out of place if they did it. It would be like, you know, the final exams. And this means that, you know, this was going to last until July. And if it's 15 episodes, I'm saying 15 episodes just because they are doing round numbers in a way, with 25 and 20. And let's not forget that the Team Plasma arc was 14 episodes, and then the Meloetta arc was 13 episodes, so evening it out, right? For all we know, they might do a part 2 of Horizons. It's going to be the countdown. It's going to be, you know, backwards. It's going to be 15, 20, 25, and then we have like 120 episodes. So the likely scenario is that Kleavor and Entei are probably in Kitakami and in Johto, because Kitakami would be a place that will make sense to visit during the summer, right? Because of the Festival of Masks and all of that. I don't think we are going to repeat the plot of the games with Kieran, Carmine and Ogerpon, because, like, if anything, they might already have met them. And we have the Crystal Pool, that in connection with Terapagos it brought Sada and Turo momentarily to our present day. But I feel like Terapagos might instead send Liko, Roy and Dot into the past, and they might meet Kleavor there, and when they return, Kleavor is not, you know, that frenzied. I don't know if... The thing with Kleavor and Entei is that for me, I feel like those should be a Blood Moon Pokemon, and the future Paradox, they will be anime exclusive, right? Like, call it Iron Volcano or something. That way Lucius would have a Pokemon from the past and one from the future. I'm nothing against Gouging Fire, but I feel like a future Entei would make a lot more sense. And this would align perfectly with, you know, something for Kitakami, and then, you know, something for a potential Johto game that they might do from a third-party company while we wait for time for Legends ZA, right? And with Rayquaza being a mega capable Pokemon of evolution, yeah. So how much would this series last? It kinda depends, because if it lasts, if Gen 10 starts next year as well, with ZA being like in the fiscal year until March 31st, which I really hope it's not the case. I like, part of me really wants for a Johto game to be done by a third party, so that ZA can be in November or October or even September of next year, and then this gen lasts 4 years for the 30th anniversary to coincide with, you know, the Gen 10 release, right? It would give this series possibly at the very least 170 episodes. Which in theory they could make a Legends ZA arc. They could still explore other regions. They can do like the final third of the series being something like, you know, Orange Islands or Battle Frontier related. That's just my hunch. I feel like Nimona is just going to be there for, you know, emotional support. Same with Clavel and Gita, and maybe they're not going to be around that much. As for the Elite Four, we see the Elite Four from the game, so that's it. And I guess that with this, the only gym leaders that we are still yet to see would be Kofu, Tulip, and Rhyme. Rhyme not being in the poster doesn't indicate that she's not going to show up, because she has a sister in the school. Her name is Time, but they are going to Mount Nevera and Glaciado Mountain, so I don't know if Rhyme is going to show up or not. Then again, showing all gym leaders in one mini arc, it's like showing all of the squad battalion, people from like other anime, which is something that Pokemon never did, and if they are doing it to shoot their load at the first time they can, of course, right? A lot of people are saying why it wasn't this done in the first place, and the game team and the anime team are not communicating a lot as times go by. So the anime team only has an idea of what the games are, and they are not able to explore it fully at the very beginning, besides some promotional information, because, for example, Ash only got the goal of facing Leon in episode 13 of Journeys, and the reason why they didn't do a Galar series was for two factors. Number one, the games now sell well enough to the point that they don't warrant a replicated plot in terms of anime promotion. And number two, with being on the Switch, they did not know how much the DLC would impact the story, so they didn't want to write a story just for the story to be rewritten in the middle, like how it kind of was with Best Wishes, by being a game that sequelizes the stakes in the anime that really time doesn't pass. Chronologically, at the very least. So I feel like that's why they did it. So they probably had all of the game full information by July of last year, and that's when they decided to actually implement, bits and pieces of that stuff into the main plot. And that's why we are here where we are now. The one thing that's really interesting me, and this was a personal theory of mine for like a while now, is the presence of Penny. We see Penny, and Penny's around the Elite Four. Maybe the Elite Four just walked on her, but the thing is that Penny in the games works for Gita after Team Star was apprehended. So in the back of my mind, I'm starting to theorize and believe that maybe Horizons, it's a Scarlet and Violet sequel, in a very broad sense of those terms, right? Because in episode 14, we see that Murdoch buys Herba Mystica in a Pokemart, and Herba Mystica in the games are very rare and hard to find, and it's only the food of Titans. We didn't saw a Titan per se, but we saw a hero Arboliva, right? Which is kind of like an anime original Titan, so kudos for that anime. So to me, we see him a boss stiff, so maybe Arvin is going to show up too. Then again, Nemona had Pawmo, and now she has Pawmot. And Liko lives in the house of the protagonist from the games, so I have to wonder if the events of the games already happened and the current arc is basically a sequel to a story that we really haven't seen. Which in theory it could work, because why replicate the game plot if everyone already knows the game plot? Doing this arc now is just so that... I think it's kind of genius in a way. Instead of doing an arc to replicate the game plot, you basically meet characters and they explain their events in this reality via flashback, and if you want to know more or experience the story on your own, you go buy the game. Now with the DLC bundle attached to it, no less. So for all we know, Penny might have already gone through her arc, and maybe we see the Team Star admins in the school with their uniforms, and maybe we can learn from them. If that's the case, I feel like 15 episodes, it's not going to suffice if you want to give like your staple episode for everyone, because if you start giving episodes to every character from the game, Liko and Roy will not get focus, and neither will Dot or the other Rising Volt tacklers. Just for you guys to have an idea, there are 60 fucking 5 characters in Scarlet and Violet. Jesus Christ. 65 characters. So I feel like probably the Team Star arc already happened, and now we have Penny working for Geeta, and that way you can see a little more of Penny. Maybe Arven already healed Mabostif. Now for the Way Home plot and the Area Zero plot, because we see the Grand Crater of Paldea, but in terms of the anime context, we don't know if the Area Zero even exists. We know of the crater, we don't know what's inside it. Could it be Rakwa? Could it be something else? Maybe Arven's parents are not lost, or maybe they're just working abroad in this reality. Kind of like how Lusamine in the anime wasn't really like Lusamine of the games. If anything, this is the one reality where Arven has a functional family. Nemona, the Victory Road plot, like, oh, but Nemona had Pawmo, not Pawmot, and I'm like, she doesn't really need a rival to still keep on training Pokemon. If anything, her Pawmo, if anything, Pawmo becoming Pawmot, it's like how Ash returns to Kanto, he got a Dragonair and then became a Dragonite. And we see Captain Pikachu in the schoolyard, so he's probably going to, you know, babysit the kids and keep them in check. I don't know where I read this, probably on Cerebi forums or Reddit. There was this idea that Roy and Dot's uniforms, because Dot's uniforms, it's basically the autumn jacket and the winter pants. And it's not a feminine outfit, it's a masculine one, it's a boy's outfit. So there is this idea that probably we are going to Freed's house, or probably where Freed and Ludlow probably live temporarily together for a while, and we might see like Freed opening a box, right, a chest, and he has like the old outfits there, and he gives them to Roy and Dot. That would be cool. Because we know that Freed studied under Lico's mom, Luca, right? So probably we're going to see Lico's mom here. Probably if anything, Lico's mom might be the one to call out Agate and Onyx in terms of being the Sky's teachers. And seeing Lico's mom talking with the other teachers would be something very cool to see. I really hope that Sango gets, you know, a redemption arc. I feel like she's a great character. She doesn't really need to be attached to this. She has Glalie, and now we have, you know, Onyx with Aerodactyl, and we got Medicham for Agate. Those are Mega Evolution capable Pokemon, so let's see if, you know, other members get more forms. Meteo, I don't know what they're going to do with the guy. I'm so mad that his stereotype for Ceruledge is Ghost. It should have been fighting, not only to match his spirit, but to beat Freed's Charizard. Like, forget Crossroad Kill, right? Night Slash, teach it Brick Break or something. If anything, like, I feel like that's going to be the case, you know, seeing Lico's mom, it's going to lead to teacher interactions, or at least visual cameos. Now, with the professors that I don't know, and there's probably a lot more that I wish I could say and tell, but this is just, you know, the information that, you know, we got, and we are probably going to see how this is going to entail in 3 weeks' time. I'm very curious to see if we are going to get a new opening. We are going to get a new opening for sure, and oh man, it really has a lot to do now. In terms of ending, I kinda wish that we have a new ending, and please, like, can we get endings that are animated again, instead of just being those that, you know, just move or just show slides? Like, give me an animated ending, please. But yeah, that's it. I feel like, you know, this, I don't like the name of the arc, that's the thing, like Terastal debut. Like, couldn't it be Stellar debut? Or, you know, Terastal training, because that's what it actually is. Oh, but it's a debut for the kids. And I'm like, no, in terms of usage, but in terms of seeing it, it really isn't. I can't, if anything, I kind of wish that maybe for another rendezvous point return, we can see Kofu with Arven, and we can see Tulip and Rhyme, and Tulip will have to be with Dendra. But that's a topic for another day. I hope you guys really like this rambling thoughts video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Let me know what you guys think and want for this Pokemon Horizons arc in the comment section down below. and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Keep well, KuroBlitz out.